So I've done a lot of several builds now with selection 1 on the left, selection 2 on the right. This I'm going to do one build with each one. Today, Thanksgiving 2019, I have the time. And so I'm going to do a Palladia Morse, Naya, and it's going to be, both are going to be Knights decks. And this is going to be a Palladia. It's also going to be a Knights. Not going to be using that much the whole angel, demon, dragon thing. I'm going to try to. I know I have angels. But the whole point is that I want to be able to switch back and forth between Commander and Brawl. I'm going to start doing that. And also, after this build, I'm going to add the Corvold Jund deck. So switch from Naya to Jund. Not for this build, for the next one, for selection 1. And then for selection 2, I'm going to bring in the Knights Mardu Brawl deck. These are the only two that I've been able to come across. I really wanted Chulane also, and the other one, so I'll get to them. All right. So, but in this build, we are going to do just Naya with selection 1. So I'm going to take things out of the way. I guess I should leave Palladia Morse here, and then set up with selection 1. So this gives you an idea of how I do these. I have two boxes, a fat pack box and this one. And I think for selection 2 I'll have it all pre-set up, whereas in this case I'm going to have to do all the setting up on video, which I never do. I actually always start with the table all laid out. But I've got piles in here. And I can do this. I can do this on video, even if it's going to take a little longer. I think I can do it. I think I can. I think I can. And so, yeah, I think we can do it this way. That's not a problem. Okay, so the piles that I have in here, the get started piles, are key lynch pins of the deck, or things that are to consider for the deck. Then all the knights, there's about 20 knights, and they're all going to go in for now. And then the double color cards also. Alright, so those are going to be the first 3 piles that I look through, and then I'm going to go through each color. So I'm going to do it a little differently because I did not set up, but it's all the same anyways. I mean, we're going to get to all the cards. The piles are getting a little bigger, but this is not the point yet where I will be leaning out the piles. I'm still going to leave them with all the cards that nobody wants, that I keep showing time and again. Okay, so I think I want to pick this card in the first. Now the deck is going to have some enchantments and some artifacts. So I'm going to go straight for 40 creatures. I'm not going to have like a Serac deck. So I'm going to be helping the Knights with other cards. Okay, so I want this one. So I'm going to say yes to it. And I want this card as well. By the way, now that I opened some more packs, it looks like every single fat pack of the 4 that I bought from Ravnica 3 and Core Set 2020 had at least one mythic rare that I can tell. So yeah, and this is the guy from War. This is really a mono red card. I keep showing it and then saying I'm not going to use it. And yes, I am not on elementals. I mean, we're going to be doing knights. I think we're going to be doing 4 commander builds, 2 each for the selections, all knights. There's going to be one before the brawl deck and one after. I am going to be on tokens, so I'm going to say yes to this guy. And I always say no to this guy because it's very heavy. I don't really have any Hydras. And even though I'm not on counters, I will not turn down counters if I've got a good counters helper. So I'm going to say yes to this dude. And the equipment really sucks. I always say the same thing. This is a great card in an environment with good equipment. The equipment we have right now in Standard is awful. And yeah, haste is going to be good, so I'm going to say yes. This guy is great, even though I'm not on instants and sorceries. But I mean, he's a good 3/3/4 flyer, and I'll take them. Then I kept mentioning enchantments when I was building yesterday's selection too, but I was confused. Sometimes I get the selections confused, and this is an example of that. In this deck, I want to play with these enchantments, and I'll just go through each one briefly. So I am on creatures and I'm on attack tricks. Naya is really all about attack tricks, so I am going to be taking this enchantment. Now this says I can only cast spells during my turn, which it's going to turn all my instants into sorceries. So I'll keep that in mind, but this card is not going to be on the board always, and so I'll have to figure out when. But the beauty of it is, however many lands I have, that's how much of a free cast I get, and I can do it multiple times as long as it's on my turn. So I think that's really powerful, and I want to do that. I may even take this deck and model it in Magic Online. I would love to model it in Arena, but I'm in one of my Arena does not work on my laptop phases. Yeah, it's your turn. Creatures you control. Yeah, it's gonna be my turn. Sure. And I am gonna play this card. I've been wanting to find a deck to play it in, and so yeah, sure. I mean, I do want to play this trick. I'm not on heavy card draw, so I mean, and again, I do want to get to the point where I model this specific deck that I'm building here. I'm not sure I'm going to build a deck list, but I'm going to have this video to look at, and I'll be able to build it at some point. I'm very curious about the way that this can be abused in a commander deck. Okay, so those are primary selections. Then for starters, just as we did with the elementals, all the knights are in, no matter how crappy they may be, because they're going to be helping each other. I mean, this guy is great in a knights deck, and I also want to see the delta between this deck and the Jund Knights deck that I'll build after the Brawl deck cards. And I'm going to incorporate the Brawl deck cards into the selections. I'm not going to keep them whole. Okay, so all these guys are in. It's a good haul. So if I count, because I love doing counts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's a good 23 knights. That's pretty good. All right. And between this video and the next, I'll do a count off camera of the various things that I have, just to make sure that I'm figuring out how to add to the knights. So I have 23 knights. That means that I've got 17 other critters that I want to put in here. And I don't think I'm going to go to 35. I think I'm going to stick to 50. It's Naya. I'm just going to try to have a lot of token enablers. So yeah, this guy helps knights. This guy has flying. It gets boosted, and later on in the game you can make more. You can make tokens. Yeah, 3 white mana. That's okay late game. I'll take it. First strike, and when it attacks, it gives other creatures +1/+1. That's very nice. And again, some of these cards have come and gone in various builds and never made it. I always just say something to the effect of, it'll be good in a Knight's deck, but not very good anywhere else. This guy is good in here. I'm trying to go wide with tokens, so actually Convoke is good in this deck. Again, more knights that are knights that play with knights. Of course, instants and sorceries. I'm not heavy on instants and sorceries, but it is a knight, and it can ping to any target. That's not bad. It's got haste and trample, and helps another target knight, so that's very good. It can destroy an artifact, but more than anything, it's a knight. This guy is another one who that has been in many decks in consideration and never makes it. In this deck, he's just perfectly made for this deck. Yeah, absolutely. And the same with this dude. Yeah, it's a knight. Sure, I'm not yet on my mono color decks that I'm probably gonna build when when Theros 2 comes out, but it's still, all knights are in, even if they suck. Sacrifice of food, I don't know how many times I'm going to get to do that in this deck. I'll keep it in mind, but I'm not going to maximize it. Another great card that is only great in knights, in my opinion, or monocolor, because you choose a color, and then every time you cast a spell with that color, you put a +1/+1. Of course, if we try to go multicolor, which I think I'm going to accidentally go into because of the Ravnica 3 cards, then that's good because a lot of my cards have multiple colors. Yeah, a first striker, 2/1, vanilla 3/3/2, but it's a knight. Another convoker that I would normally not have picked, but here fits very well in the deck. And some of these cards have been many times in selections that never made it through because they were knights, and I wasn't building to knights, and they were otherwise not that great. Like this guy who cannot block, but actually this guy can combo pretty well. This is the guy that I won my pre-release game with. So yeah, double striker, but very light. I'm gonna try to enchant if I can, but I'm not gonna go with equipment. I'm gonna think about enchanting or battle tricks. So again, these cards are all in. They're not ordered right now. They were put in by color. And I'll do some ordering between this video and the next. Okay, so now my pile of cards that I've already chosen is this pile with Palladia on top. Palladia is not that great. He's really here, or she, as a figurehead, or it. Flyer, Vigilance, Trample, 6/6/6. It's going to have hexproof only when I don't need it to have hexproof. So, well, I guess I won't mind for it having hexproof sometimes. But if anybody wants to whack it, they will. So that's going to be my commander. It's already a pretty big pile, which of course, as we continue build after build after build, getting selective is going to happen. And at some point, even just trimming a whole bunch of cards that don't even get considered will also happen. Okay, so a Convoker 5/4/4 Vigilance, I'm going to take it. Look at the top 4 cards of my library for a creature or an enchantment. Not bad. It's a 4/2/1. I'm being extremely picky, so I'm going to say no at this point. The same with this bear with Vigilance. I'm going to say no. But this guy creates tokens, and I'm going to say yes. Put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control as an instant. That's pretty good. I have to take it. On top of creatures you control, they gain hexproof, indestructible as an instant. That's a great battle trick late game. Yeah, sure. A Convoker with a bunch of token makers. I pulled this card recently, so that means that the Guilds of Ravnica Fat Pack had 2 mythic rares. I've forgotten about this card. Mentor, 5/5/2. It's both white and red. Yeah, I think I would take it. It's a little aggro. Double strike as long as you control a gate. I'm going to say no. Vigilance, whenever it attacks, deals 1 damage to each creature defending player controls. I like that. I'm going to take it. Then the battle tricks. Battle tricks are in. 3 damage to any target. You gain 3 life. Yeah, I like that. I'll take it. Can't be blocked by creature tokens. It's otherwise a vanilla 3/3/3. I'm gonna pass, even though it's good otherwise. But I just need to be picky because I've got to keep my knights happy. Remove a counter from a creature you control. Deals 2 damage. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not exactly on counters. Other elementals, no. When it attacks, yeah, gets boosted. Yeah, I'll take. It's a 0/4 though. Not sure I like that. Fight trick. Puts a counter on something, so the counter remains. I like that. Turns a land into a creature forever. I like that, yes. It cannot be blocked by knights or walls and is otherwise a 4/5/5. I like that too. Okay, so I already made a bunch of selections, which means that my pile is pretty big. I think we're at the point of ending this video. I'm going to do some counting, and I'm also going to set up the colors as I always do. And of course, this video had a preamble because it sort of sets the next round of 4 builds, 2 each for each selection. Alright, so that's the early stages of my Palladia Moors Naya Knights build.